After years of sitting vacant at the end of New Orleans Square, the Haunted Mansion soft opened during the macabre eve of August 9 of 1969. Surprised cast members were able to see the mysterious house with special characteristics that would no longer be repeated. Upon entering a dark room filled with screams and lunging ghosts, cast members were able to see two characters. An otherworldly corpse-like bride holding a candle, and next to her, what cast members presumed was his cadaverous groom. This ghost shook while holding his cane and a hatbox in his other hand. His head disappeared from his body only to reappear in his hatbox. A week later, cast members and guests alike saw a vacant spot where they once had seen this eccentric ghost. As awakening from a nightmare, they questioned themselves. Did we actually see that ghost, or was that our imagination? Join us today to learn about the most famous ghost from this house, whom after a week disappeared from the ride for about 46 years, here in Stories from the Mansion. After the first week of opening, the Hatbox Ghost disappeared. Regular folks and cast members alike did not know the reason for the disappearance back then. We now know, thanks to Imagineers, that the ghostly fellow disappeared due to the fact his disappearing head effect did not work. This effect relied itself on black light, but due to the close proximity of the ghost to the guests in a tight attic, the ghost appeared to have heads at the same times, confusing guests. The animatronic was removed to be worked on, but never returned. This 46-year period without him was one of speculation. The Hatbox Ghost appeared in all illustrated books and records despite him not being in the ride. People were seriously thinking they were victims of what we now call a Mandela effect. But the 90s came, and with it the forums where all fans shared their moments of the ghost holding the Hatbox in the attic. The first images of him surfaced there, and they were promotional images from Disney, shot at studios. Later, a picture of him in the attic surfaced, but was later discovered to be a Photoshop of the promotional image of the attic. It wasn't until the 2000s where DoomBuggies.com uploaded an original shot of the ghost. This is how the 1969 Hatbox looked like. And all guests who remembered him now knew he actually was there. This was later confirmed by Imagineers who heard about the craze, and the legend of the Hatbox Ghost grew exponentially. Petitions for the Hatbox Ghost to return to the attic were made, but Imagineers and Disney insiders revealed the animatronic had long been dismantled and used to build the Sam the Eagle animatronic for America's Sing Show. Later on, Sam the Eagle himself would be shelved and dismantled, with the remnants of the Hatbox Ghost lost somewhere in Splash Mountain and beyond. It was towards the end of the 2000s that strong rumors of his return for the Haunted Mansion's 40th anniversary began to gain traction. He was supposed to reappear during the reinstallation of the Haunted Mansion in 2009 after the Haunted Mansion holiday overlay ended. Fan requests and efforts by Imagineer Tony Baxter were the ones that secured the budget for the return of the Hatbox Ghost in his original form. But January 2009 came and no Hatbox Ghost appeared in the attic. Rumors continued every January expecting the ghost to return after Haunted Mansion holiday, but he did not appear. Baxter later explained that this was due to Ghost Galaxy, the Halloween overlay of Space Mountain. Tim Disney Anaheim, in charge of the budget, took the Hatbox's Ghost budget to make some last-minute additions to Ghost Galaxy, including the exterior lights, sound system, and marquee. The Hatbox Ghost hope remained for fans, but the Hatbox Ghost himself would not return. During this time, the only known video of the Hatbox Ghost during opening week that exists was uncovered in a video called Disneyland History 1969. During the early 2010s, at a D23 convention, a Hatbox Ghost animatronic appeared. Some thought that would be the final form of the ghost and he would appear in weeks inside the mansion. But it did not happen. On 2015, a weird wall appeared at the end of the attic and the balcony of the mansion. Guests thought of it as a regular ride refurbishment or some paint job, but others kept the hope that the return of the beloved ghost was close. After all, during all the 2000s, the Hatbox Ghost was used as merchandise for the mansion, but did not appear at all. Finally, a couple of days before the anniversary, a Disney blog confirmed the return of a long-lost ghost. Later, a video by Disney Imagineering surfaced explaining how would the Hatbox Ghost return. Using internal projection technology that evolved from Madame Leota and was used for the dwarfs at Snow White's mine ride, the Hatbox Ghost would return better than he was in 1969. At last, when the park turned 60, the Hatbox Ghost returned, this time though, not at the side of the bride, but at the balcony, next to 5 Hatboxes and to a door leading to a room filled with bats. The official lore of the Hatbox Ghost is that he was an accomplice to Constance's devious murders, and helped her hide the husband's head inside the Hatboxes. In the end, Constance, wishing not to leave any witnesses, killed the Hatbox Ghost the same way as she did with her husband's, but his ghost would remain there to remind her of all her crimes. Previous to this, though, in 1969, he was supposed to be a suitor of the bride who was either killed before the wedding or killed by her. In either way, they don't get married and wait forever in the attic to do so. According to the book, his head appears and disappears with each heartbeat from his bride, linking them together as husband and bride. 46 years of disappearance and a return filled with so many clues about his past left guests with no option but to create fan fictions. Some linked him to the previous corpse bride as bride and groom, which makes a lot of sense, and others link him to the heart-beating bride and the jealous Master Gracey. Let's hear that, shall we? The most prominent fanfiction goes as follows. Emily, betrothed to Master Gracey, had commissioned an astonishing hat for his beloved husband. Since this was a wedding gift, she tried to keep it a secret, but had a hard time doing so since the master followed her everywhere, jealous and suspicious of her. With little time to inspect the progress of the hat, she decided to call the hatter himself to the house on wedding day, when the master would be busy getting ready. Taking advantage of the groom can't see the bride before the wedding superstition, she hid in the attic and arranged a meeting with the hatter. This eccentric fellow brought the hat, made out of the finest materials and European techniques available in New Orleans. But just when he was taking the hat out, Master Gracey rushed in the room with a sword in his hand and cut the hatter's head clean. Enraged, he killed her bride without hearing an explanation. After some time, though, Gracey saw the hat and the scene and understood the great mistake he had done. He hid the hatter's body in a trunk, his head in a hat box. He then put the bride in another trunk, fearing reprisal. But in a matter of minutes, he knew he could not live with his crime and hung himself from the rafters. The Hatbox Ghost, despite not being in the ride, did appear in many popular mediums such as the illustrated books House of Mouse, and even in the comics, where he is either a decapitated crew member from Captain Gorse's or Ambrose Gracey's ship, and appears during wedding day to haunt him and his bride. In another comic, he reveals he left the mansion for 46 years because he learned how to use the doors at the endless staircases which lead to some other dimensions. After mastering the art of traveling through the doors, he returns to help the mansion free itself from Captain Gore and teach the ghosts how to travel through the doors. This character is a favorite of many and is the most famous ghost from the mansion. His appearance is limited to the New Orleans estate, not being linked to the Hudson River Valley house, clarifying he lived and died only in the New Orleans timeline. So, what do you think? What other stories do you know about this character? Be sure to write them down, for I love to read them. This has been all for now, but I'll see you all a little later.